So we're going to do the LeetCode problem threesome. Given an array, we're going to take 3 numbers from the array that are not at the same index that all add up and equal 0. Okay, so 3 numbers that add up and equal 0, right? So that would be this one, and this one, right? Okay, so we need to sort this. We need to sort this first because it's going to be able to avoid duplicates, right? So first we want to sort it, right? We could have duplicates, say we had like the number -3, and we have a -3 here, right? What we are going to run into as we loop through, we get, okay, -3, okay, 1 and 2 would equal 0. So we've got -3, 1, 2. Then we've looked at this one. Now we've looked at this index. Now we come here. Okay, -3 again. Okay, 1 and 2. So it would just add a duplicate of the same thing, right? And we want to avoid that. And we can avoid that by sorting, because if we sort this, what we get is we're able to check to see if the current number is equal to the previous number, right? So if we hit this and we get that into our answer, now we're at this number and we're like, okay, 3, is it equal to the previous number? Oh yeah, it is. So we're going to skip it because otherwise we'd end up with a duplicate. Okay, so this is the reason we need to sort. Okay, so we would sort, then we're going to loop through, and we're going to check to see if we've hit 0. So we'd want to loop through here. Basically, we want to do this. We want to do a for loop through here to the length of nums. If nums I is greater than 0, break. Why do we do that? Because we're trying to add up to 0, right? You cannot add and get 0 if everything you're adding is greater than 0, okay? Because we're going from, right, we're going from left to right on this sorted array. And once we hit 0, everything is greater than 0. So we cannot add and get 0. So we break out of it. Okay. So we'd hit an if statement. If I is 0, or nums I not equal, this is the check for the duplicates, then we'd run a whole function to get all the numbers. We'd be able to get 3 and 12. This is our function that would get us this, that would put it into our result that we would return. That function would look something like this. Here. We create a separate function down here, and we could actually just put it in here. Basically, we'd have this guy, and we will make a small number and a large number, and while the small number is less than the large, we're going to calculate the sum, and if the sum is 0, we'll get here, right? In this last part. But if it's not, we're just going to increase the small and decrease the large, right? Because we have to have 3 numbers. So we loop through and we've got I. This is our first number. Our second number would be the small one, right, that we're adding together. So our first number, our small number, and our large number, right? Decreasing the large number, so large number would start here, small number would be here, this would be I, and we're increasing the small number, decreasing the large number until small is no longer large, right? So if we were here, if this was I, and this was small number, and this was large number, we'd have to continue to decrease and increase until we get, so basically we'd increase small, which would get there, we'd increase small again until we got here. Large number wouldn't be touched because the small number, the sum would still be less than 0, right? And we need it to be greater than, right? Because if we're here, you know, -3 plus -3 is -6, plus 2, you know, would be 4, -4, right? Which would still be less than 0. So until it's not less than 0, we're not going to touch this guy. We're not going to decrease the large. So basically, right, we'd end up with -3, 1, and 2, okay? And when we have that sum, it's going to be 0. So we're going to get into our else statement, and we're going to prepare for finding another set based upon our I index. And we're going to increase sum if it's less and the nums, the small number, right, is equal to the previous number. So this is going to avoid duplicates. And so yeah. Okay, so let's code this up. Let me just... All right, perfect. Okay, so basically this equals nums, and I want to create the result array that we're going to return here. So this is what we're given, and I'm creating this, and we're going to return this, okay? Basically, I want to sort this, so we're just going to use that quick sort function here. We're going to do a, b, arrow function, a minus b, and that will sort our guy. We do a for loop, for let I equals 0. I is less than nums length I plus plus. And if nums I is greater than 0, right? If it's greater than 0, we're going to break, okay? Else, if I equals 0, or nums I minus 1 is not equal to the previous number, right? If our previous number is not equal to our current
number, what we have is we're going to want to sum it to 0, right? We're going to want to find the numbers that get us 0. So we're going to give it nums, we're going to give it I, and we're going to give it our res. This way we can just return, it'll all be handled in the next function, right? Okay, so creating our function, we have nums, we have I, we have res, and we have our small number, which would be I plus 1, right? Because it needs to be a different index. Our large index, which would be the length, minus 1, and we would begin looping through, so while our small index is less than our large index, we are going to sum up everything in order to run our checks on it, right? So it'd be nums I plus nums small plus nums large. Okay, and if sum is less than 0, we're going to increase the small index, okay? Else if sum is greater than 0, we've got to decrease our large index. Now else we are equaling 0, right? So we want to add this to our result. Okay, so our result is an array of our numbers. So we just have to add our starting number, our small number, and our large number. And then we want to increase small, right? Because we need a different number the next time around. We want to decrease large, we need a different number. And we want to make sure that there are no duplicates. So nums small, triple equals nums small minus 1, right? We want to increase small while it is equal so that we don't have duplicates. Okay, so yeah, let's go ahead and run this. Line 24, oh, okay, run. Okay, perfect. Okay, so that should do it. Let's submit this. Perfect. Okay.